Hello, everyone. My name is Beth, and I'm honored to be here to welcome you tonight to this month's wellness webinar called Sun, Fun, and Self-Care Wellness Tips for the Heat. Perfect timing as we are in mid-July. Can you believe it? So, we have a great presentation for you tonight. So, whether you're watching us live or catching the replay, we hope that you enjoy the information that we have to share and some tips that you have to take home with you. So I'd like to introduce you to our presenters today. So Kate Carpio and Chris Combest. They are both certified professional health and wellness coaches through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, as well as certified Optavia coaches. So Kate, I'm going to hand this over to you to kick things off.
All right, fabulous. Hello, everyone. I'm Kate Carpio, certified health and wellness coach, as Beth just said, and I am so glad that you are here with us tonight. So whether you're joining us live or catching on the replay, thank you for taking the time for you. That alone is worth celebrating, all right? So, summer has such a fun reputation. Vacations, sunshine, longer days, woo! But if we're honest, it could also be just a little chaotic, right? Many of our routines went out the window. We stay up later, we're more on the move, right? And that really can, all those fun things can sometimes leave us feeling, well, a little fried.
Exactly. I'm Chris Combest, also a certified health and wellness coach, and I'll be the first to admit, summer throws me off way more than winter ever does. I love a cookout, a long walk, a pool day, but I also notice when I'm not doing the intentional, I'm not being intentional about the little things like hydrating, eating well, protecting my downtime, actually getting some downtime. I crash hard. One minute I'm all sunshine and steps, and the next I'm wondering why I'm cranky, bloated, and exhausted by 2 p.m.
And we talk sometimes at 2 p.m. and you are cranky.
Yes.
And I'm like, hey, did you drink any water? Sorry. We don't always make that connection, right? Between how we feel and how we're taking care of ourselves or not taking care of ourselves. So it's easy to put yourself last in the summer because everything feels so go, go, go. And that's where tonight's conversation really comes in.
Yeah, our goal is simple to give you a few powerful, doable ways to feel better in your body, your mind, and your life, even in the heat, even when your schedule's off. You don't need to overhaul everything. You don't need a perfect routine. You just need a few good tools and some awareness about you.
Exactly. And so right now, think of this as your midsummer reset. Okay. So you got time to tune in here tonight, right? We're gonna work on shifting your energy and really get recentered before August rolls in. And suddenly now we're on the back to school and back to other routines, right? So we're gonna try to make this fun. It's meant to be conversational, like if you haven't noticed, right? Just between friends. This is not a lecture, it's not a checklist of things that you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it isn't about pressure. This is about permission to take care of yourself in a way that feels best for you. That might be more water, better boundaries, different movement, or even giving yourself permission just to rest without the guilt.
Right. So before we dive in, we're going to give some practical tips and mindset shifts, but let's take a second to really just check in together. Okay. So what's one summer habit that's been slipping lately for you? Maybe it's hydration, Chris. Maybe it's consistent meals, your bedtime, that healthy movement. Sometimes we don't want to get up and go to the gym. Or even, this is a big one, saying no when you're overwhelmed. So think about that for a minute. What's one thing, one summer habit that, has been slipping for you? We hear from clients all the time that their routines get off track. Energies are dropping, and suddenly the things that we know help us feel our best, it just doesn't happen. I saw Beth put movement in there, right? We know that when we move our bodies, we feel better, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. So, if that's you right now, you're not alone and you're in the right place.
Yeah, we're going to walk through ways to reset your energy, care for your body, protect your peace, and reconnect with yourself, all without burnout or any unrealistic expectations. And we'll share what works for us too, because we've definitely been there.
That's right. So let's get into it.
All right, let's start with something sneaky, energy zappers. Summer seems energizing, right? The sun's shining, there's more daylight, pool parties, beach days. In theory, it sounds like the perfect time to feel vibrant and alive. But let's be honest, it doesn't always work out that way.
Exactly. I've had so many clients come to me this summer saying, I'm not staying up late. I'm getting decent sleep. So why do I feel exhausted? And when we start, peeling back that onion and asking some questions, it's like, are you hydrated? Did you skip lunch for 3 days in a row? Like, when was the last time you were not multitasking?
Yeah, I had this one week where I thought I was killing it. I was running errands, I'm checking things off my to-do list, I'm doing yard work, and then boom, I crashed hard, like 2:30 p.m. I couldn't even think straight. Turns out I hadn't eaten anything since breakfast. I'd had no water, and I sat out in the sun for an hour straight.
So you knew I wasn't kidding when I was calling her out.
Yep,
Her and the hydration, it's a habit that has slipped, over the summer. So she's working on getting back in, right? But here's
yep.
the thing. It's usually not one thing, right? As Chris just mentioned, it's usually the combo of the little slips, right? You're out in the heat longer. Maybe you're starting your day with the coffee and you kind of forgot about the water. You're eating less because you're so busy or you're so on the go, or you haven't paused all day to actually just sit and check in on how you feel.
And summer brings a lot more output, more sweating, more socializing, more sunlight, and that can mess with your internal clock. You look like you should be thriving, but inside, you're drained.
Yes. And dehydration in the summer, it's really a big one. Even if you're not visibly sweating, your body is losing fluids constantly. And it's not just water, it's electrolytes like sodium, potassium, magnesium. So, that afternoon headache, wait, the short fuse with your partner or your friend, feeling foggy, it may not be stress, or it may not be, I'm just behind, right? It really may be hydration, right? Causing that energy crash.
Yeah, so I've had this issue. So something I started doing midday has really been a game changer for me. I just do a quick energy check-in. I literally ask myself three questions. When's the last time I drank water? Have I eaten something with protein today? And I moved my body or taken at least just 5 minutes to breathe? Sometimes I realized I haven't done any of those things. I fix one and I already feel better.
Love that. And I do
Yeah.
something similar with clients, right? And, we call it the pause and pivot. So just stopping for 30 seconds and taking a few breaths, right? And asking, what does my body need right now? And maybe it's a glass of water. Maybe it's just sit in the shade, right? When you're out there in the sun, right? Just move over. Maybe it's getting away from behind the desk and going outside, right? So it could just also be, stop scrolling and just close your eyes for a minute and just let them rest, not to take a nap, but just to stop looking at the screens. That could be very helpful.
Yeah, that's a good idea too, because that can actually just wear you out. And what we're saying doesn't take long. We're not saying take a full hour. We're saying 2 to 5 minutes can change your whole afternoon. It's not about doing more, it's just about doing one small thing a little bit better.
Exactly. So we're going to give you a little homework, right? Or we can call it a cool down challenge, right? This is about the sun and fun in the summer, right? But maybe tomorrow by midday, would you be willing to try this little reset? Pick one. Drink 8 ounces of cold water. Step away from your phone, right? It sounds like, oh, can I do it? Right? Yes, you can for 5 minutes, right? Or just, how about this? Don't take it to the bathroom. Leave it sit on your desk. How's that? How about breathe and stretch? Close your eyes. Then see how you feel. Just that, because those tiny little resets, especially in the summer, are really what's going to keep you showing up as your best self without hitting that wall.
And remember, it's not about being behind, it's just about tuning into you. The better you understand your energy drains, the faster you can shift them and feel better. let's talk about some self-care, but the real kind. Not spa days or long bubble baths, unless you love those, which
I
in
love
this
them.
case, all right, then go for it. That's you. For
Give me a
me,
spa day.
yeah, have time for all that. So most of us don't have time for a full day retreat. So we're just talking about small, consistent practices that actually support your body and your brain through the demands of summer.
Yes. And although I love a spa day, I don't do it, but I could still think about it, right? So in this season, when schedules get wild, right, there's a lot of traveling. People have kids home, kids, their grandkids, right? And this is when these little micro habits matter, right? We call them self-care anchors. These are the little things that you can come back to when everything else feels unpredictable or just off.
Yeah, I have a go bag now for the summer. I keep it in the
Right.
car, a water bottle, a protein bar, a sun hat in case I'm, stuck out with the dogs or doing whatever, some lip balm. And then I take like a pack of electrolytes with me, just in case I start feeling run down. I can throw that in my bottle of water and I'm good to go. And that way I know that wherever I end up or whatever ends up happening that day, I have everything I need. And honestly, that one habit makes me feel prepared, which is a form of self-care in itself.
I love that idea. That's really great, and it's something that everyone could do, right? Just get that little bag together, keep it in your well, maybe keep it by the door, keep it with your keys, so that your water's not getting hot in the car. But
There you go.
but definitely keeping those things together. For me, my anchor, I try around the 2 p.m. and I'm inside working, either I'm on Zoom calls talking to clients, right? And I try to step away from what I'm doing and either grab something to drink or maybe I'll just go stand outside for a couple minutes, but I also have this peppermint oil. And sometimes just like smelling it, I was like, ah, it just really, it really makes me feel good. So that's something that you can try. I mean, this whole thing could be 5 minutes, right? That's what, Chris had said, we're not talking about a full day, but this really, it helps reset my mood and my energy.
Oh, that's so good. I love the peppermint oil. We're going to have to try that. And that's the key. It doesn't have to look perfect. It just has to work for you. What works for Kate may not work for me, and vice versa. So you just find your thing. And it's not about what looks good on Instagram. What helps you feel more stable in your world.
Exactly. So next we're going to talk about some cooling rituals, right? Because those are underrated in the summer. And, I talked about this peppermint oil. I think it's a game changer. I really, enjoy it. But there's some other things that are favorites. Aloe vera gel, right? Especially if you keep in the refrigerator. Sometimes, you put that on. Herbal iced tea, right? You can have that, put it in a cute tumbler, right? That's a great one. Another one, frozen grapes. Okay, that's a sweet, hydrating fract or snack. But what I was going to say is, my husband loves them. I'm not so much a frozen one, but I like them nice and cold, so they're fantastic. But also, Chris, this may be a good one for you, right? Being outside, I know you're out a lot. But having like a cooling facial mist or even one of those chilled eye masks, that may also help you feel good, by the end of the day.
Oh, I like that. I like the chilled eye mask. I'm gonna have to try that out.
Okay, poor Susie, man. I'm running up your bill.
I know,
You're
there
getting
you go.
peppermint oil, you're getting eye mask. Good.
I'm gonna be shopping. All right. A few more examples of summer anchors, just in case someone's thinking, okay, I get it, but what does that actually look like? You can keep a small cooler in your car with water, a healthy snack, maybe a cold washcloth, which would do the kind of the same thing as the face mask. Just take that out, wipe down your face, put it on the back of your neck. Putting your phone on do not disturb for 15 minutes each afternoon. Wouldn't that be nice? 15 minutes without someone calling you,
Hmm.
texting you. That would be fabulous.
Does that sound like something you're going to try?
I think I would like to,
Yeah.
yes. Maybe do a quick stretch or a breath work exercise while your kids nap or like during your break from work. Um, Having a Sunday night reset. I like doing this. Actually, I'm kind of OCD, so I do it every single night. But laying out your clothes, pre-pack your bags, I write out my to-do list for the next day, but even if you are going grocery shopping, write out your grocery list, do all this stuff. And then that way, because Mondays are Mondays, and that makes it a little less overwhelming.
So it's easier to go into the week. I do the same thing. I have everything laid out the night before. I actually even go and set my alarms for all my calls, meetings, and appointments. But we all have our own routine, right? And that having that routine, that's one thing that I have been able to keep through these summer months. A lot of other things have gone a little astray, but that one I have kept. But one a tip that I recommend to my clients is a tech timeout, right? Similar to what you said, maybe about the do not disturb, but even, if you could take just that 10 or 15 minutes without the screens, right? Because in the summer, we are so overstimulated. The text, the emails, right? The social media, it's a constant input. And that creates this low level stress, right? So 10 to 15 minutes without the screens, even if you're just sitting outside and listening to the birds, it really helps calm your nervous system down.
Yeah. And when you build it into your day regularly, even a couple times a week, it becomes something your body expects. Like for me, well, we haven't had sun in forever. It rains every single day for I don't know how long here, but when it's nice, I like to just take a break. I go sit outside. I do listen to the birds. I watch the dogs run around 5, 10 minutes, get some sun, get some vitamin D, and then head back inside. And I mean, that's the magic of self care anchors. They're not random, they're predictable, and that predictability builds resilience.
It really does. So let's hear from you, right? What's one summer self-care anchor that you already use or you want to try? So, for those watching this live, why don't you drop something in the chat? And, if you're watching this on the replay, make sure you write it down for yourselves. All right. One summer self-care anchor, making a list of things that I need to get. Hold on. I lost it. Making a list of things that I need to get done.
Fun.
That's a great one. Good.
Yeah. And if you're not sure where to start, just pick one. You don't need five. If this isn't, we're not talking a whole new routine. I can't handle that much change. It's just one small thing that says, hey, I'm paying attention to me. I'm taking care of me.
Yes, that's what this is about, right? It's not pressure, it's permission. You don't need a 10-step morning routine. Just one or two things that are really going to help ground you and help you reset your energy during a hot, busy season. Right, we
Exactly.
see a couple of things over there, right?
Yeah.
There's, never leaving without the Yeti jug filled with water, making sure to have my water, right? Super important. Spending time not on a screen, out of a real book. Nice.
Yeah.
And the screen break.
On the
Perfect.
screen break, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more consistently you practice these, the more they become your default. So when life gets hectic, you don't start spiraling. You return to the practices that keep you well. And let's be real, summer can feel busy between vacations, out of town guests, weekend barbecues, school being out, and that we should totally get together energy that happens in July and August. Your calendar can fill up fast. And sometimes without even noticing, your own well being starts slipping farther and farther down the list.
Yes. And here's the thing. We don't even realize it at first, right? We say yes to things because they sound fun. But when we're already stretched so thin, it just becomes one more thing that we have to manage. And that's where the idea of protecting your peace, it really comes in, right? Protecting your peace starts with one word that it's kind of funny. A lot of people really struggle with boundaries, but I like to call them the guardrails. I think of bumper bowling when the little kids go bowling and you put up the little guardrails. That's when I like, so you have a way or boundaries for the adults in the room.
I like the bumper thing there.
I knew you
Keeping
would.
everything in control.
That's right.
Yeah, and boundaries aren't mean. They're not selfish. They're how we take care of ourselves. That way we don't show up exhausted, resentful, or running on empty. I used to say yes to everything, every invite, every request, because I didn't want to let anybody down. But I learned every time I say yes out of guilt, I was saying no to something else that mattered. My rest, my health, my peace.
Right. I work with so many women and this comes up all the time. Ready? I feel so bad saying no. What if they're disappointed? Right? But here's the truth. You're not responsible for the other people's reactions. You're responsible for your energy and you're allowed to create space to breathe, even when everyone else is asking for your time and for your attention.
Yes. So let's talk about a few reframes that can really help here because boundaries aren't just what we say to other people, they're also how we speak to ourselves.
So this is really interesting because I hear it a lot. I'm being lazy. I'm like, what? Like, no, no, no. I'm choosing rest, right? Or if you say, I feel bad. How about saying, I need time to recharge, right? Same things, but you're saying in just a more refreshed way, right? Instead of, I'm sorry, I can't. How about that doesn't work for me right now? And guess what? You don't need to explain yourself. No is a complete sentence. You want to say it kindly, but you don't owe anyone the full explanation.
Yeah. That one was huge for me. I felt like I had to give this full TED talk every time I declined something. Now I just keep it simple and honest. It's so much easier. And the more I do it, the easier it gets.
Yes, practice makes perfect, right? So
Yep.
let's try this little quick visualization, right? So I want take a deep breath, right? Just a deep breath. And I want you to imagine your peace, your energy, and your calm as something that you're holding in the palm of your hands. And every time you say yes to something that doesn't align, it takes a little piece of that energy away. A little more away. A little more away. So ask yourself, what would it feel like to say yes to yourself first?
Wow, that's powerful. And it's not about saying no to everything. It's just saying yes more intentionally. So the things you do say yes to, you actually have the energy to enjoy.
Yes, right? Because here's the thing, you don't owe anyone your burnout. You don't have to earn your rest. And you're not behind just because you're being more protective of your time.
Yeah, so if you're feeling overwhelmed or stretched thin this summer, this is your reminder. You're allowed to pause, you're allowed to rest, and you're allowed to protect your peace, even if people don't fully understand that.
Exactly. Now let's take a quick moment together just to slow down. We've been talking about practical strategies and ways to care for yourself this summer. And now I want you to feel into that. So if you're able, close your eyes or just soften your gaze. Let your shoulders drop. I don't know if you know if your shoulders have been up, but let them drop and clench your jaw. Smile. Take a slow, deep breath in. Gently exhale. Now ask yourself, what does caring for yourself look like this month? Let that question land. Don't rush to answer. Just notice what comes up. Maybe it's leaving more white space in your calendar, giving yourself permission not to fill every hour. Maybe it's going to bed earlier, even when it's tempting to scroll or stay up later just to get some time alone. Maybe it's drinking more water during the day or turning off your phone after dinner so that you can reconnect to your own thoughts. What does that look like for you? Not for your friend, not for your family, but you.
And now think about this. What's one word that could guide you through the rest of July? It might be something simple like steady for when things feel unpredictable, rested for when you've been running on empty, light if you've been carrying just a little too much, which we all do, nourished if you've been focused on everything else but yourself. or grounded if it feels like life is moving too fast. And you don't have to overthink it. The first word that speaks to you, trust that.
And once you have that word, write it down. Put it on a sticky note by your bed, on your mirror. Make it the background on your phone, right? Make it like a little picture. Say it out loud in the morning before you reach for your to-do list. Let that word be your anchor for the next few weeks. Let it remind you of what matters, of how you want to feel, not just what you need to do. Because you deserve to feel good in your body, calm in your mind, and steady in your energy, no matter what this season looks like. So just pause for just 2 seconds and let that sink in.
All right, let's wrap up with a quick recap of what we covered tonight, and more importantly, what we hope you'll take with you. Summer energy drains are real. They sneak up when you're not paying attention. Stay ahead of them with small intentional shift. Self-care matters. You don't have to be big. They don't have to be big or perfect, just consistent. Do something consistently for you. And protecting your peace is powerful. Boundaries aren't barriers, they're bridges to better energy. And remember, there's no behind, no shame, no perfect. You can reflect and reset as often as you need.
And here's a big thing. You don't need to wait until Monday or the first day of the month or the day after vacation. You can restart tonight, right? With your bedtime routine. And it doesn't have to be a total life overhaul. We hope you heard that. It's one small choice that says, I matter too. That's where the momentum begins.
If something we shared tonight sparked a question, gave you clarity, or reminded you of what you need to do right now, don't hesitate to reach out. We're both walking this wellness journey right along beside you, and we're always here to support you.
And you can take a photo of this slide for links to connect with us if you want. You can follow us on social, download a free resource from our website, or hop on the email list so you don't miss future webinars like this one. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. You've carved out time for your well-being, and that matters more than you know. So this summer, give yourself the gift of care without the guilt.
Stay hydrated, stay grounded, and keep showing up for you. We'll see y'all soon.